Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So here the situation is now a little bit uncertain, but it looks like we lost support yesterday. We lost support, which was here the support area for this fourth wave. So the move here cannot really be considered a fourth wave anymore. Well, we could if we understand that as a diagonal pattern. Yeah, the move up here as an ending diagonal in itself, that we say we're doing here something like a broadening wedge in itself between waves 2 and where you can connect 2 and 4 and 1 and 3, an ascending broadening wedge. That would still be a scenario in which you could allow that fifth wave to happen, but it's now at a point where it's getting extremely unreliable. I'm gonna observe that a little bit, but it also, in addition to that, obviously dropped out of the ascending broadening wedge that we talked about before. Yeah, so let me see. This was a pretty clearly defined trend line. Here we had 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many touch points we actually had, but we lost it, and we now all we might be doing now is to retest that trend line. It's currently a 3-wave move to the upside, so it could just be an ABC before we fall down further. And I will now focus further here on the downside. Now again, it could obviously regain that if we get above that trend line, flip it for support again. We're back in the game. That would be the condition. Need to get above that trend line. And by the way, I'm going to take these out because in the end this triangle broke down. In terms of wave count, yeah, I mean, if we now look at this is still a possible bullish count. Don't get me wrong, it works, but it's become extremely unreliable. So nothing I would focus on anymore. If we get that fifth wave, nice. Okay, you can still trade it if you want to against that support, but I just lost confidence in it now. Yeah, so 2230 is now key support. In a diagonal pattern, you actually expect the wave 4 to cut into wave 1, but whenever you have a diagonal pattern, it's getting unreliable. On top of that, you could consider that some kind of a bull flag, but bull flags, they get also unreliable as per traditional TA if they break below the 50% retracement. So yeah, and it also lost the 61.8 briefly. So yeah, difficult. Of course it could work out, but then all we're doing at the moment is just to retest that trend line from below. Again, if we can get above that level, which would be above 2430 and sustain, maybe flip that trend line again for support, that would be an indication that, okay, we might have a diagonal pattern here, or some kind of an exotic 1-2 setup here, and we would rally up in the third wave. And therefore, I mean, you can still trade this long if you want to against this wave 4 support, but it's just become unreliable. Yeah, so this has become much more realistic now, the direct breakdown into this wave 2 support area. I will observe it a little bit more before I give you more detailed targets for this. And in this scenario where we come down directly, we would have to assume this was already in here, this high of the wave 5. And this was an A wave down, probably an overshooting B wave, and we're now coming down in a C wave. That's certainly possible. And in that scenario, I can give you a target here, A, overshooting B wave, and C. But again, there are various ways of calculating target. But here, I mean, the key target here would be the 1.618 extension, which is at $19. It would not even get into this support area, but this is the most likely retracement area. Let me just double check that. So it would be based actually on, yeah, it depends. So I can base it on this high, and then we would talk about 1725. As first target. Understand there are different targets, yeah, different ways of measuring target. You're always looking for confluence. If I base it on this high, then that one target that I just gave you is basically in line with a 38.2% fib, which is possible because in the end all of this could just be a larger A wave. We move up in B and then come down in C, so it could become quite a long correction here. So yeah, watch that 1950 target as possibly a first target, maybe in a larger A wave. Then we could come up in B. That might even be a time to maybe scale in again, and then take profits in the B wave and move down in C. The reason I'm saying that is normally, because this would be a wave 2, right? Normally the wave 2 would take longer to play out than the wave 1. An impulse usually is faster than the wave 2. And yeah, I mean, how long did that take? That emerged from end of December, let's say, to that, or we have to measure that high. Yeah, only like, 2 weeks. And we are not even at these 2 weeks now. So normally you would expect that to play out a little bit longer. So that's primarily what I'm watching now here in ABC. I might change my view depending on what today's price action will bring. So it's very early here, when you're in the very early stages of reconsidering to make a new count the primary. I want to have a bit more clarity before I give you definite targets here. But certainly when we come down now, watch that 1945, 1950 level. And I will probably do another update later anyway. But yeah, we dropped out, retesting currently from below. Should the US stock market open, which will open in an hour, when the US market opens and we get some bullish signals here to the upside, it might push it back above the trend line, and then we're basically back in the game. But what I can tell you is certainly that this view that we are now in the wave 2 has gained here in probability, and the move up, direct move up, has sort of lost in reliability a little bit and in probability as well. But let's see what the day brings. Hope you liked the update about Solana. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.